Welcome back. We're going to get live link data now from Axis Studio into Unreal so we can see it playing on our retargeted mesh. So I've got here a character that I downloaded from the Perception Neuron store. They've got a bunch of free assets for mocap, which is a brilliant resource if you ever want to see it. But you can also download the MBX file and put it straight into Axis Studio to play. So this is running in editing mode. If I had capturing mode, I'd see my suit here, which I'm not wearing because it's too much to wear and talk to at the same time. So I'm just playing pre-recorded data. It works exactly the same way. It has a character name, which we're going to look for with live link. I have to go into my settings to set up the broadcast. So if it's capturing, I'd have this turned on, but I'm running from the edit mode. So we're going to send on a local address on port 7006 using TCP. UDP is better, but I find TCP is quicker to set up. And we're going to send using the Unreal Engine skeleton rig. Each of these is a different setup depending on the sort of character you're running. There used to be a metahuman version. I don't know where that's gone, but maybe it's incorporated in the Unreal Engine format now. So when we talk about the epic skeleton, that is what the Unreal Engine format is. There's also the Axis Studio format, which is running the PN3 robot, which is another way of setting this up. But it is very slightly different. And you've got customized character skeleton if you're building your own. But we want Unreal Engine. That's going to control the UE4 mannequin and anything that's set up with the UE4 Epic rig. So click OK. That is now streaming. Okay, so just trust me on this. So I'm going to move this window out of the way. That is now streaming into live link. So let's set live link up. First of all, if you haven't got it installed already, go into your plugins and check for live link. Oh, there it is. Live link. You want to make sure this is ticked on. And then when that's reloaded, you should see the live link plugin is now one of your install plugins. Now the other one I've got here is my Neuron live link, and I should have turned that on as well. That's probably why I couldn't find it. So I'm going to pause again while I restart. Okay, so now we've got our live link installed. Okay, you can see we've also got the Vicon data stream live link. I've never used it, but that's obviously how Vicon gets its data in. The Neuron live link plugin, by the way, if you can't find it, it's not something you'll get through the library. You could download it, or you can try downloading from the website, but they send you to here. So if I type in Neuron into the marketplace, it comes up here. So you have to install this to the engine. So once you've got it installed to engine, I've already got it installed to 5.1, but if I select 5.2, it will install now. And that way it would appear in your plugins list. If you're using OptiTrack, as I said, you download their plugin and install it. You might put it in the project directory or the engine directory, and then you can run with it. So I've got two different live link plugins installed now. I have my window here, go to virtual production. I should see a live link option, which I've already got open. Now it's going to be looking for anything at all that's coming into it via live link. Now we've got Axis Studio running in the on the side of my screen as I told you. So let's open up our sources. Axis Neuron Live. This is the specific bit from Axis Neuron that is creating live link sources. You've got the virtual subjects here would be where you'd find it under another live link source. We're not using UDP. I chose TCP, so we're ticking this off. Local address that we use, but it was port 7006, so I'm going to put that in. And it's come up straight away. It's green light saying it's getting data, and the character name CHR00. I'd recommend always calling things like character 1, character 2, character 3. It's nice to have people's real names, but when you're recording the data, if you want to play it back, it will always be consistent, always work if you use the same naming convention. Just that's my view. We can save that as a preset if we want to, so I'm just going to save that as live link preset. And now if I want to come back to it, I'll just load up that and it will automatically load up the settings that connects on this computer. So how do we get that into our rig? Right, so we've got our retarget asset built. We did that in the last lesson. We now need to put it into the animation blueprint with live link data. So let's just have a look at how that works. So we're going to go back to our characters. We've got our UE4 mannequin, meshes, and there's no animation blueprint for this character. Where do we get that from? So you could try searching for it. It's in here somewhere, but the easiest way to get it is to go to the skeletal mesh of the object you want to convert, right click on it, and go to create and blueprint. Okay, and now we've got a new blueprint. We're going to call it ABP UE4. It's going to be consistent with everything else. And I'm going to move it into my retargeting folder there. So it's in the same place as the others. If I double click on this, it's going to open up that blueprint to the event graph. Now, what we need is the anim graph, and it is a bit tricky. You don't know where to find this. If you want to find the output pose, if you right click in here and start trying to type in live link to get your live link data, there's loads and loads of blueprinty stuff. So you've got new and live link. We can create a new and live link source at runtime, which is something you might do if you're building an app and you want to have a button that connects to your live link source. Very useful, but that's not what we want right now. We need this here, the anim graph, down here on the left. Double click on that. It will then load the anim graph next to the event graph. Make sure you can see the output pose. Now we can select our live link source by going live link pose. Okay, now this is going to be looking for any live link data coming in. So if we click on here, we'll see it's already seeing a character coming in, CHR00. If it wasn't streaming, that would be blank, so it would be very difficult to choose. If that's the case, then you create a variable and you specify what the name will be. So when it does see it, it would automatically choose that. But we've got a live link coming in, so we can select it, just link those together, and we're going to compile. When we hit compile, we should see the data coming straight through. And save. There we go. All right, what's happened there? So his head's sort of ducked down, but we're not getting anything else. So just the head's moving. Isn't that fun? That's because there's something else we've got to do. In here, we've got to set retarget asset. Okay, we've got to tell it exactly what it is that's driving. So we've got a live link remap asset. We've got a new and live link remap asset. I can't remember which one it is. I think if I click on live link, no, not that one, the other one. New and live link remap. Compile. No, so I'll tell you what, this is also to do with getting the right skeleton. So all of these are slightly different. Okay, we've got UE mannequin live link remap asset. That is the one that we had in our settings. So rather than just clicking away, I should just go and check, shouldn't I? So in our BVH broadcasting here, I chose Unreal Engine. I've got other choices here. I've got Axis Studio, Mixamo. We have to choose the one that we've got. So we've chosen Unreal Engine. So we've got the UE mannequin live link. And we've got metahumans as well. As I mentioned, that was metahumans, but they've gone. We haven't seen them. So let's try this one. So just so you can see what I've done, I've got the UE mannequin live link preset here, which is taking live link data into UE4. And then in Axis Studio, got my character there in my settings. I have got the Unreal Engine skeleton. Displacement's turned off. That just takes the arms away from the source, and that is what's coming in. So we now have a character streaming live link data straight onto UE4. There's nothing special about that. You can get that from the Perception Neuron tutorial. But we now have a character streaming, and that is the character that we have retargeted into other characters. So we now have it running. If I stick this animation blueprint into our level, have a look. It's already trying to play it. Hit play. Ooh, where is it? Where is it? Oh, I haven't actually. Oh no, it was doing it. It was doing it. I stopped it too soon. There we go. So data coming in. So that's the standard UE4 mannequin running with the mocap data coming directly in from Motive. Okay, but that's not what we want. We want it on our Steampunk mesh. So how do we do that? We need to build another animation blueprint, this time for the Steampunk mesh, Steampunk Mech, calling it mesh. So let's go to our meshes for Steampunk Mech. Are we going to find a skeletal mesh? Exactly the same process as last time. We right click on it, create anim blueprint, we can call it ABP Steampunk Mech. And I'm going to copy that into, or move it rather, into our retargeting folder. And we'll stick this into the level. So I'll stick them over here. But it's not going to work. It doesn't have any live link data. There's nothing giving it any information at all at the moment. It is just a blank blueprint with the mesh in it. So let's double click on it. Let's see what's going on. We had the event graph. If you were working in here right now, you could build your controls for it, but we want the anim graph where we're going to tell it where to get data. Now I could find the live link data for it and add that in. That's what we did before, but it's not what we need right now. What we need is the retargeted information. So we built that retargeting asset. We've applied it to the UE4 mannequin. No, so we didn't apply it to UE4 mannequin. In the UE4 mannequin, we applied the retargeting tool that comes with Perception Neuron. That's just a tool that they provide to make sure that their skeleton from their software is broadcast via live link into Unreal to the UE4 mech. Now we need to retarget from the UE4 mech into the Steampunk mech. So we built that asset. Let's just show you where it is. It's here. We've got RTG UE4 to Steampunk mech. That is the retargeting mesh. That is telling one to go to the other. So I'm trying to be very explicit because you get your head around this. So we're going to build a retarget pose from mesh asset. It's here. Retarget pose from mesh. Take this. We're going to plug that in, and then once we've got it selected, the mesh we're going to choose. Sorry, the asset we're going to choose here is going to be our retargeter. Now we've got retargeters that Unreal's given us, UE4 to UE5, UE5 to back to UE4. So if you want to do any sort of conversion, you could do that. But we're going to do RTG UE4 to Steampunk mech. And I'm going to compile, save it, and I think I was hoping something would happen, but let's just try playing, see what happens. Nothing. What have I missed? Ah, yes, of course, there's another step. Let's go back to the Miro Board. I created to explain this. We now have the animation blueprint of the live link data coming in. That's the UE4 bit. But we need to tell that data to go to the character blueprint. The animation blueprint on its own, this animation blueprint here, the Steampunk droid, is not doing anything because it's not part of the same blueprint as this character here. So we need to put both those animation blueprints together in the same file. So for that, we're going to create another blueprint. This time, it's going to be a normal actor. So blueprint class, actor, and we're going to call this BP characters or character. Double click on this. Now this is where all the retargeting happens. The operation of it will happen in this blueprint. So under our BP character self, we're going to create a skeletal mesh. This one's going to be our UE4 mesh. And then we're going to create another one underneath that. And that's going to be our Steampunk underscore mesh. Okay, now the important thing here is that one sits underneath the other, because this one is going to stream to anything downstream of it. So if you want to do multiple characters, you could have them all in here. So it'd be different costumes on the same character, but different physical rigs. Lots of them sitting underneath each other. Here's how you would do it. So in the UE4 mesh, we'll go and choose our skeletal mesh asset. This one is our UE4 ABP. No, it's not. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is our SK skeletal mesh. Make sure we get the right one. And then we need our Steampunk mesh. Let's get the right bit. This is the skeletal mesh that was imported as part of the project. I'm going to displace this one. There is a way of doing it neatly, but I'm just going to move it over here just so we can see them. But we want them on top of each other before we finish this, because then they'll be doing the same thing. Now, the way of controlling this is with the animation blueprint. We're going to do this one first, Steampunk mesh. We've built the ABP for this. So if you can't see it, just type in ABP to narrow down the field. And we have our Steampunk mesh, Steampunk mech rather. Okay, that is the blueprint that was receiving the retarget pose mesh node and sending it into the Steampunk output pose. So compile that. Nothing will happen because it doesn't have any data yet from our first mesh. Now, before I put in the animation blueprint, I'm just going to show you another way of testing this. Rather than animation blueprint, we can use animation asset, and we can find our jog forward one. And now you can see that that jog animation is controlling the other one. Now, we've already seen this in the retarget pose mesh blueprint, the retargeting blueprint we created, but it's just another way of just verifying that we've got that communication working. So let's just clear that, and let's go back to the animation blueprint. Now, instead of animation data that's pre-recorded, we're going to run the animation data we've created coming from LiveLink. So we want the ABP UE4, which we created with the LiveLink pose. So let's add this in, and it's instantly disappeared off because it's now getting LiveLink data from our mocap source. So that's coming directly from Axis Studio. If I bring Axis Studio back over again, okay, see if we can get all that in the same place. You should be able to see. Oh, sorry, that's OBS. That's the wrong thing entirely. I was thinking, why are you seeing so much of the same view? Okay, so I'm bringing this over. I've done it again. Every time I try to click on Axis Studio, it's bringing over OBS. There we go. Got it. Okay. So that's my mocap data. So just to prove that this is live, it's playing. We're going to let it start running. Here we go. And I hit pause. And it pauses. And play. Pause. So if this was live mocap data, it will be coming through live right now into that blueprint. Let's compile that, save, and from there, it's just like any other blueprint. We dump it in our project, blueprint character. Well, we're going to get rid of our animation blueprints. We don't need those now, not in the project. They can run in the blueprint itself. I'm just going to remember to tidy up my character here. I'm going to push him back to 0, 0, 0. So I'm just going to center that again. Save that. Now if I hit play, I've got two characters running at the same time in my scene with live mocap data. Now, if I only want to have the one character, just normal blueprinting stuff at the moment, we'll just create, turn that off so it's not visible. Search visibility. Right, we now don't have the original character. If you wanted to have multiple characters here, you could create in the blueprints, you could just very quickly show you. We create references to these. I'll create a keyboard shortcut to number 1 and number 2. Come on. Okay, quicker way of doing it, copy and paste this. And change that input to. It's not easier, is it? It's exactly the same. 2, and I want that to be number 1, not numeral 2, so it's a keypad. And then we're going to set visibility. Oh, actually, I'll do it this way around. Didn't really think about how I was going to do this. I just started doing it. Put it on the flip-flop. I'm going to put both of these into the execute command, and the visibility is going to be controlled by A. And then I'm going to do the same for this one. Set visibility. So it's just going to toggle the visibility on and off each time. Oh, I forgot flip-flop. This means each time you press it, it's just going to send a different output for the visibility on, off each time. So that will set that. So we could turn them both off to start with. And this could also be controlled from anything at all. It can be controlled from your like an OC command, or it can be controlled from oh, and of course, because I've got my character loaded, it's not gonna run it. This could be running from your controller. So is it? Let's get our blueprint character. Set the input to player 0. Hopefully that will work. There he is. So that's 1, toggle 1 on and off. So we've got this character. And then if you magically want to change the character to something else, we can load it with pressing 2, turn off number 1. There we go. That is how you get live mocap data and retarget it to a new character. And in the last lesson, we're going to just do something very simple, which is converting existing animation data from that character into pre-recorded data that you can then load into the sequencer. So we'll cover that in the next lesson.